Welcome to the Faculty of Biology of Gdańsk University, one of the best units of this rank in biological sciences in Poland. In this short video, you are going to find out why studying in our faculty is a worldwide experience. We'll show you some of our labs and infrastructure. We'll tell you about our accomplishments, events that we organize, and scientific projects of such a domain as molecular biology and biochemistry, environmental and experimental biology of plants, vertebrates and invertebrates, and human biology. You'll also get a glimpse of Gdańsk, one of the most picturesque cities of Poland located at the Baltic coast. Welcome to the Biology of Faculty.
Whichever field of biology interests you most, you will certainly come across aspects that require understanding biology at a molecular level. Molecular biology is an extremely interesting and fascinating discipline that analyzes the basis of life at the level of molecules, nucleic acids like DNA or RNA, amino acids, peptides, proteins, and their interactions. Here in Gdańsk, over the years we have established a strong position in the field of molecular biology, and the Gdańsk School of Molecular Biology, founded by Professor Taylor, is widely appreciated. At the Department of Molecular Biology, we conduct studies in the field of molecular biology and molecular genetics. The research subject is wide, from studies on the regulation of DNA replication and gene expression in bacterial cells to the molecular taxonomy of lichens and human genetics and genomics. In the Laboratory of Molecular Biology of Bacteria, the aim of our research is to understand the mechanisms of regulation of DNA replication and gene expression in prokaryotes. And the main object of research in this laboratory is not only Escherichia coli, but also many species of marine bacteria. We also deal with the mechanisms of bacterial response to states of hunger and stress. In the Laboratory of Molecular Genetics, we conduct research in the field of molecular taxonomy and phylogeny of lichen organisms. Here, we also study the development of various bacteriophages, viruses that infect bacterial cells in natural growth condition. We always develop methods for the rapid detection of pathogenic microorganisms, including biochip technology. From molecular biology, there is only one step to genetics, molecular, but also the classic one. Yes, we still have fruit flies to teach our students, but our faculty's scientific interests in genetics are focused on the biosystematic aspects of genetic relationships. Our scientists concentrate on the broadly understood biodiversity of animals, especially aquatic invertebrates, tested at the level of species population and multi-species assemblages. It is currently being analyzed through the integrative approach that considers the way of delineation taxonomic units, based both on morphological and molecular or ecological approach. The research team of the Department of Plant Cytology and Embryology, focuses on sexual and apomictic reproduction of flowering plant, polyploidization processes, epigenetic control during seed development, and induction of plant embryogenesis and organogenesis. In the microphotographs lab, the floral secretory structures are main objects of interest. Many experimental procedures are held using in vitro plants and tissue cultures. We utilize them not only to explain plant development-related processes, but also to use them as a tool for a rapid micropropagation of rare and low-protected plants, and to reintroduce them into the degraded ecosystem to restore them. In the Department of Plant Physiology and Biotechnology, as well as in the entire faculty, we are allowed to perform experiments with genetically modified organisms and microorganisms. So our students learned how to make a basic GMO tobacco or Arabidopsin plant. We use them in gene silencing, overexpression, or CRISPR-Cas-mediated genes addition, leading to the creation of new plant culture-based expression systems for recombinant protein production. The important area of our interest are unicellular green algae. The set of multi-station photobioreactors is used for the algal cell cycle regulation studies and the analysis of the impact of anthropogenic originated water environment pollutants to water plants. We are one of a few worldwide laboratories where the cell culture of green algae is analyzed. The role of signaling molecules like nitric oxide and hydrogen peroxide in the process of cell cycle is our main interest. Green algae cultures are also a great tool to evaluate the toxicity of water pollutants to plant cells. Since we have many years of experience in toxicological studies, including ISO and OECD procedures, a commonly used pharmaceuticals is the group of substances we are currently focused on. The amount of pain release and anti-inflammatory drugs in water bodies is still rising, when the mechanisms of their action towards plant cells are still unknown. We try to discover the mechanisms of their action towards plant cells both at the level of cell population and their physiology. Water plants and ecosystems are not only the subjects of our interest in laboratory conditions, but we examine them also in the natural environmental conditions. Our plant ecology is focused on biology and ecology of aquatic plants, their life histories, evolutionary strategies, population strategies, and dynamics. Some research aims to understand anthropogenically induced changes in lakes and develop improved strategies for protecting. In the lab of paleoecology and archaeobotany, we analyze changes in the natural environment under the influence of natural factors and human activity. One of the most interesting habitats for us are wetlands. The experimental greenhouse of the Faculty of Biology possesses a large collection of carnivorous plants, including local species and exotic ones, like Nephatis, pitcher plants, and Droseris. In the same greenhouse, we also have a collection of orchids that mainly reflect the scientific interest of the Department of Taxonomy. We focus on issues related to biodiversity, from the molecular level through species to the ecosystem. An essential aspect of research is the protection of biodiversity, both domestically and on a global scale. In addition to study conducted in various European countries, the staff and doctoral students of the department research such distant lands as South Africa, French Guiana, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Africa, South Africa, Madagascar, Asia, Philippines, Borneo, Thailand, Indonesia, or French Polynesia. Not only an exotic flora is an object of interest, we collect, describe and archive in a form of herbarium, collection of variety local Pomeranian species. And since we participate in Pomeranian Herbarium project, all the herbal collection is undergoing a digitalization process, followed by its sharing in the electronic form. So, as you see, ones interested in plant biology are able to join us and find the area of interest both in the lab and environment, as well as at the molecular biology and physiology level, taxonomy and entire plant habitat population biology. Research topics in the laboratory of parasitology and systematic zoology focuses on the taxonomy and ecology of flies, both modern and fossil, and forensic entomology in the context of using insects to estimate presumed time of death. We also research taxonomy, biology, and ecology of vertebrate parasites and selected invertebrates, and medical veterinary parasitology, including parasitological diagnosis. Research in the Department of Invertebrate Zoology and Parasitology concerns animals from different parts of the world, modern and extinct, free-living and parasitic. The results are published in prestigious scientific journals. Also, those fascinated by Jurassic Park, and especially by the fossils preserved in the amber, can realize their dreams at the Faculty of Biology of the University of Gdańsk. To be a paleontologist in the future, all you have to do is to follow an exciting path from an adit of amber to an exciting extinct world. And you learn all about it in the Laboratory of Evolutionary Etymology and Museum of Amber Inclusions. We look for relations between vertebrates, mainly birds and mammals, and the habitat, relationships among particular animal species, and rules of the population functioning. We also investigate animals' behavior, which is diurnal and seasonal patterns, as well as physiological conditions. We try to describe and explain how animals influence the ecosystem. When big seabirds colonies deposit tones on guano into a forest or the Arctic tundra, and when beavers cut selected tree species from the Arabian forest. Other questions are: does a breeding colony of birds supply local predators with food? Does the forest thinned by beavers become more attractive for bats than before? We are interested also in the other side of the coin, how ecosystem structure and dynamics affect the number, distribution, and activity of animals. Every year, millions of birds fly thousands of kilometers from the breeding areas to the wintering grounds and back. The flyways often lead through the coast and rivers of Poland. We want to know how these winged rumblers bodies can cope with such energetically demanding effort. How do birds manage fat reserves and how do they molt? Does it depend on sex, age, or individual condition? What is the role of hormones in the phenomenon? Does food abundance during flyaway assure a happy end of the trip? Migration is not the only challenge for birds. Breeding season, laying eggs, hatching and feeding chicks takes a lot of energy, and success is often unsure. We try to get in the bird's family life to know who, mom, dad, or both of them, is more engaged with time and energy in parenting. When, where, and which kind of food do parents seek for themselves and their offspring? The Bird Migration Research Station is a research and teaching department at the Faculty of Biology. Our research focuses on determining birds' biology, ecology, morphology during their non-breeding season, especially on migration, to identify the relationships between migration and other elements of the life cycle, and to monitor populations of migratory birds. Operation Baltic, conducted since 1960 at the Polish Baltic coast, is our station's primary long-term research and monitoring project. Modeling long-term trends in numbers and changes in the timing and features of bird migrations in response to changes in the environment, including climate change, is a key part of our research. Our studies focus on passerines as models in studies of migration, but we also are interested in birds from other groups. We conduct projects in Poland and abroad, focusing on different aspects of birds' movement along their main migration routes. Our research project merges the efforts of ornithologists and citizen scientists and involves students and volunteers. In addition to research related to animal ecology, we also conduct experiments related to investigating the neurobiological basis of addiction and the reciprocal links between the brain and the immune system. We are interested in the relationship between psychobehavioral traits, psychostimulants, antidepressants, and immune response. We also study the effects of a harmful environment on animal behavior, as well as the role of behavior in maintaining homeostasis. In our laboratories, we study molecular and epigenetic mechanisms of human genetic and civilization diseases. There are mainly cancer, autoimmune, neurodegenerative, and lysosomal storage diseases. Our employees, doctors, students, and undergraduates work on the molecular mechanisms of these diseases and develop new therapies. We seek new and effective treatments for psoriasis, dermatitis, Huntington chorea. In recent years, we have been mainly involved in the search for effective therapies for Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and Huntington chorea. In studying these diseases, we use tissue cultures and animal models, mice and rats. We study behavioral changes in laboratory animals in memory tests, such as the Morris-Water maze test, and anxiety, social, or motor activity and coordination tests. The faculty core and fundament is not the well-equipped lab, a $1 million research grant, or every paper published in Nature Science. The faculty is made of people working in it. Meet them.